Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Uplifting Earth, and this is going to be the second part of the basics. I realized that there were a couple things that I forgot to mention in the first video, so I just want to take you through a couple more of the basic things that are really super important to know about using Ableton and being effective at using it. So the first thing we're going to start off with is return tracks. Now, return tracks are freaking amazing, you know what I'm saying? They reside down here with your master, and basically what it is if I switch to this view, boop, you can see this is all my routing here for my return tracks. Now it looks like a lot, but it really isn't, and I'll go. I'll just explain it really fast. So basically, this is the row for return A, and that will tell you how much information is being routed to return track A. Now, if I look at return track A, here's a reverb that I built. That I use it for a lot of them. It's a nice big reverb, and basically I'm sending a certain amount of signal to my return. Now this is great because reverb is used for blending and everything. It makes everything sit well. So like if I go ahead and just solo, let me start like right here. You can hear just what everything that's being sent to return A, you know, and that's going to be sounds like quite a bit of snare. I bet you if I open up my drum channel, yeah, a bit of snare, a bit of reverb. The hi-hats are being sent there. Right, so that's flipping awesome, right? So that's channel A. I usually run about like 4 of them. You know, then I have my return B, and this is going to be for the vocals, the RC48, awesome delay for vocals by Native Instruments. This is my delay that I use for instruments. In this case, I'm using it for some vocals, and I do believe that there is there's something else that I put on here too. I'm not sure where it is at the moment, but yeah. And then this one's for New York compression or parallel compression. I'll go over that a little later. That one's some good stuff. Yeah. And then I also have a filter delay as well that I like to use in like arpeggios and higher sound things. So that's basically return tracks. Why you'd want to use a return track is for a couple of reasons. So let's say, you know, I have this arpeggio here. Let's take a listen to this so we can just hear what it is really quick. Pew, pew. Okay, so you get the idea. And that sounds all well and good, and I love the sound of it, right? Now, why would I want to send, you know, the return track over to, you know, the reverb, a little bit of New York compression, and the filter delay instead of maybe just putting the filter delay on here? The reason is that the filter delay, the dry wet, you could turn it to like 25 and stuff like that to get sort of the desired effect, but I prefer to have a return track. I can do this on, you know, a much higher dry wet, as well as a great thing to use is compression. I can compress something from the original signal, which is by far the best thing ever, you know. So let's see, on C delay, I'll give you an example of this really quick. Let's just go right here to this part, and we'll solo this.
Potential is infinite. My potential is infinite.
So what we got going on here is that let's see, yeah, here we go on the delay. You see that I have a delay here first, and then I have this compressor where I can actually compress the signal from the vocals onto here, which is super helpful instead of like doing the routing on the actual channel itself. So that's a reason that you want to use return tracks. Another reason is dummy clips. You can send signal out from return tracks. Yeah, so that's basically return tracks. I absolutely love them. Check them out, you know, play around with them, see what you can do. There are lots of them, of cool things that return tracks can do. Okay, the second is modulation. I talked about modulation in the clip view, but I didn't go over modulation in the session view. I'm not session view, the arrangement view. So why don't we go ahead and find like something with the auto filter on it. I think this one. Nope, that one doesn't have it. I know I did it for the master. Yeah, here we go. So any of these channels have drop-down menus. You know, you can expand it, and then you have these options right here. Now, this is how you do modulation, which is going to be a huge step, right? I can choose, look at anything. I can look at the fades, which the fades control the ins and out volumes of there. I can go to the mixer. I can do, you know, the speaker, the panning, the volume. And basically what it does is it allows you to modulate things right on the timeline. So, for example, if we start this song, you can hear that I have a filter sweep in, and you can actually see it right here as the song starts. Oh, I got this soloed. So you can see that at the very beginning, this is starting to go up to bring a nice sweep in there, and you can see that represented right there. And you can do that with any of these channels, any of these tracks. You can do all of that. Let's see, I do believe that the drums have some. Yeah, here we go. So like, this is the auto filter for here. I have that turned on here. You can hit the plus to have anything down there. So here's a nice little sweep that I do right there at the end. That's to just get the low end of those kicks. That way when the drop comes in, boom, 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 it's a lot boomier. Great little tip. So that's modulation. On the timeline view itself. You can do it on the clip view as well. And you'll be using that a lot, or at least, you know, get into that so that way you can start using that a lot. Next thing that I want to talk about is warp modes. Woo! We all love warp modes. Yeah! Okay, so basically, I'll do a full tutorial on warping and how to get like the most out of your warp sessions. But for right now, I just want to talk about the different warp modes, and there are different reasons to use different ones. So if you open up any audio clip, you know, you're brought down to this window down here, and then there's this warp button right here. Now, Ableton has one of the best warping engines I've ever heard. It's gotten a lot of praise from that type of thing. And if we come down here, we can see all the different warp modes, right? So there's beats mode, which is meant for like drums and things that have a very steady rhythm. You can take that and stretch that out over a timeline, you know? I don't really use tones that much or texture. Repitch is pretty cool because it'll like slow things down, speed things up. You kind of get that type of thing. And then the two that I use the most are Complex and Complex Pro. Now, both of these are a little more CPU intensive. So Complex is my default go-to. I use it for everything. It's just going to be a little higher quality, right? While you're warping. And the next is Complex Pro. And Pro is going to be the highest CPU intensive thing you got there. I like to use Pro for vocals. You can get some great vocal stretches using Complex Pro. Something to play around with when you start warping things. Anything that you brought into Ableton, you know, any default audio clip is automatically going to be warped, and it's going to try to find the tempo for you. The next thing that I want to talk about is slice modes. And slice modes are also really cool because you're allowed to do unbelievable things with them, you know? Okay, so I have an audio clip here. Let's just stick with the arpeggiator because it's a nice sound. So if I right-click on this, right, I have these things right here, and these are what I want to talk about. The first is slice to a MIDI track. So I can grab this, you know, do it on transients, all these type of things. I like to do it on half bars. I usually just use the preset, right? So we're going to go ahead and warp this, and it's going to give us this now, which, you know, looks like this step sequencer. Right? So that's the order that it's played in originally. But if I play it on a keyboard now, oop, where's my... Let's find out what notes these are on. There we go. So I can play these now in a different order than it was before. which can be really, really cool. The arpeggiator doesn't do it justice, but what if we went and chopped up a vocal? Chum, 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 chum. Let's just select this chunk right here. Let's go ahead and put it together. Command J to put audio together, right? And then we'll say slice to a new MIDI track. Now when I play this, well, actually, here I'll let you hear what it sounds like at first.
Potential is infinite, infinite, infinite. My potential is infinite, infinite, infinite. My potential is infinite, infinite, infinite. My potential is infinite.
Okay, so that's what it sounds like normally.
Infinite.
You know, so you can do like a lot of cool chopping things up like that. And I get asked this question a lot, so we'll just go into it right now. This is called chains, and basically what you can do is... that's not what I want. My ins and outs. There we go. Okay, so your chain is basically like all your different slices, right? It has all those. That's what these are, you know, right here. All your slices and everything. And what this choke does is when you set them to the same number, then they will not overlay over each other. They will immediately drop out so you can start the next sample, which is awesome for... if you're going to be doing some heavy sampling. So I'm just setting these all to the same channel, channel 16, for my choke.
Infinite, infinite, potential is infinite.
So you can hear how it just chops off that right away instead of continuing out the rest of the sample. That's how I like to do it. And so that's basically what I wanted to show you for that type of thing. Now, finally, we have slicing... well, not slicing, it was convert. Yeah, converting. Okay, so we'll start off with let's see. We'll start off by slicing the arpeggiator again, right? So I can convert the harmony, the melody, or the drums to MIDI tracks. And unbelievable, you can throw whatever song you want in there, just choo choo choo, and it gets pretty close, right? So let's chop this arpeggiator notes to a new MIDI track, and we'll see what we get. So this is our new one. It's gonna put it into a piano. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. You can just rip any melody right out of anything, saving huge amount of times when it comes to, you know, all sorts of type of things. Same thing with harmony. That's how that works too. And then let's say you have like a drum track, or you have a track that you really like the drum patterns in it, you know, and you can just right click and, you know, you can say... that's not what I want. It's got to be an audio track, by the way. Convert drums to new MIDI track, and it will do the same thing, which is super, super, super helpful. Can save a whole lot of time. It's not 100% accurate, but I mean, it's easy to go in there and fix those really quick. So that was basically the other things that I wanted to talk about in the basics. Those are a little more advanced than just sort of getting around, but those are all super crucial things to learning how to use Ableton and be, you know, a motherfucking sorcerer. So that's it for this video. If this helped you out, give it a like. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be making a lot more of these. If you want to see me make something in particular, go ahead and throw me a comment, and I'll be happy to make that for you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video.